All right, today we are diving into something huge: how to finally get out of your own head, quiet that constant mental chatter, and find some real clarity. So, if you've ever felt like you're a chronic overthinker, well, this is for you. You know that feeling, right? You're supposed to be focused on work, but your mind is just stuck, replaying some awkward conversation from yesterday. Or maybe you have a decision to make and your brain just spins and spins, going over every single possible outcome. You are definitely not alone. This is actually a fundamental feature of how our brains are wired. So, what is actually going on up there when you're spacing out or just totally stuck on a problem? Well, the answer has everything to do with your brain's incredibly powerful built-in autopilot. To really get what's happening, we gotta look at the science. And the main character in this story is this fascinating brain system called the default mode network, or DMN for short. The easiest way to think about the DMN is as your brain's idle mode. When you're not zeroed in on a specific task, like when you're driving a route you know by heart or just letting your mind wander. That's when this network lights up. It's literally the brain's default setting when you're resting but still awake. And this network, it's absolutely essential. It's where we daydream, it's where we think about ourselves, process our memories, imagine the future, and even try to figure out what other people are thinking. It's also where some of our most creative ideas pop up. You could say it's the home of our sense of self. But what happens when this super helpful autopilot goes into overdrive? Well, that's when we get trapped. And this is where our story takes a turn. Because the very same system that fuels our creativity can also get us hopelessly stuck in a loop of worry and indecision. See, when the DMN becomes hyperactive, it basically hijacks your mind. Instead of useful daydreaming, you start ruminating, just endlessly replaying past mistakes or anxiously forecasting every bad thing that could happen. It yanks your attention inward and sends it down a negative spiral. And this leads to something we've all felt: analysis paralysis. It's that awful feeling of being completely frozen. You've analyzed every single option to death, and now the fear of making the wrong choice is so huge that you end up making no choice at all. You're just stuck. Now, it's really important to draw a line between two things here. Overthinking isn't always a bad thing, right? Sometimes analyzing a future problem actually helps you find a solution. Rumination, though, that's different. That's like a broken record of negative thoughts, usually stuck on the past, that leads absolutely nowhere productive. It's your DMN stuck in a ditch. Okay, so that's the science. We've got this mental autopilot that can get stuck in a nasty loop. But what can you actually do about it? How do we handle those big, scary choices that send us into analysis paralysis? While our first tool is a really powerful framework designed for exactly these moments. It's called the RAP model. The RAP model, which was developed by Chip and Dan Heath, gives us 4 straightforward steps. Each one is specifically designed to pull us out of our own heads and fight back against our natural biases when we're making a big decision. So first up is widen your options. We so often fall into this trap of thinking it's either this or that, but instead you force yourself to ask, what else could I do? Or is there a way I could do both? Just asking that one question can shatter a narrow mindset and open up a world of new possibilities. Next are reality test your assumptions. So instead of just going with your gut feeling, you go out and find some cold, hard facts. Talk to someone who actually disagrees with you. Run a tiny experiment. If you're thinking about a huge career change, don't just dream about it. Go talk to people who are already in that field, or maybe try a small side project first. Third is A, attain distance. Let's be honest, big decisions are loaded with emotion. For some clarity, try the 10-10-10 rule. It's brilliant. Just ask yourself, how am I going to feel about this choice in 10 minutes? Okay, what about in 10 months? And in 10 years? This simple little trick zooms you out from the heat of the moment and gives you some serious perspective. And finally, prepare to be wrong. Now, this might sound a little pessimistic, but trust me, it's incredibly powerful. Before you pull the trigger, imagine it's a year from now, and your decision has been a complete and utter failure. Now ask yourself, what went wrong? This pre-mortem helps you spot all the weak points in your plan before you've even started. So the RAP model is fantastic for those big, thorny decisions. But what about that sudden jolt of anxiety that hits you out of nowhere? For that, we need a kind of mental first aid. So now let's look at some tools you can use anytime, anywhere to immediately calm your nervous system and pull yourself out of an anxiety spiral. This first one is called the physiological sigh. It's unbelievably simple and totally backed by science. Hey, try it with me right now.
Take a deep breath in through your nose, and when you think you're full, sneak in one more little sip of air. Got it? Okay, now let it all out with a long, slow exhale through your mouth. What you just did is a perfect example of the mind-body connection. That double inhale pops open all the tiny little air sacs in your lungs, and the long exhale sends a signal to your brain to slow your heart rate down. It's a direct message telling your body it's safe to relax. It's like flipping a switch on your body's rest and digest system. And the physiological sigh is just one way to hit that reset button. There are other simple things you can do, like humming or singing, splashing some cold water on your face, or even gargling. All of these things can help you reset when you feel that wave of overwhelm coming. Okay, so these are powerful resets for the moment, but to make a real lasting change, you have to build these new behaviors into your daily life. And that brings us to our final section, which is all about the long game. How to turn these things you do on purpose into automatic positive habits that just work for you without you even thinking about it. And the best technique for this is called habit stacking. The whole idea is that your brain has already carved out these super strong neural highways for your existing habits, like brushing your teeth or making your coffee. So habit stacking just anchors a new habit you want to build onto one of those already solid routines. The formula couldn't be simpler. After my current habit, I will do my new habit. So for example, after my morning coffee is done brewing, I will do 3 physiological sighs. By linking the new thing you want to do to an old thing you already do automatically, it becomes so much more likely to stick. So the crucial point here is that the goal isn't to get rid of your brain's autopilot. It's a vital part of who you are. The real goal is to learn how to work with it. It's really all about learning to recognize when to let your mind wander and be creative, and when it's time to say, okay, I'm taking the controls now, and consciously steer your thoughts somewhere more productive. It's knowing you have a framework for those huge decisions, a mental first aid kit for sudden stress, and a real strategy for building calmer, better mental habits for the long haul.
This whole toolkit really is about putting you in the pilot's seat. It's about giving you the power to navigate your own mind. Because when you know how to fly it, that powerful autopilot becomes an incredible tool for creativity, planning, and understanding yourself. The question is, who's in control?